Oxford University Press has been choosing a word of the year since 2004, with lexicographers selecting the word or phrase that best represents the past year. This year's choice is rage bait, meaning online content designed to provoke anger and drive traffic. Oxford University Press seems, in contrast to the chosen term, keen to avoid public outrage. It explains that although rage and bait are two separate words, they are frequently used together with a fixed meaning. In more academic terms, the degree of lexical cohesion is high. In fact, the word of the year selection is not limited to single words, but can also include phrases and sentences. Experts point out that by 2025, human life has become driven by technology. The emergence of deepfakes, AI-generated online celebrities, virtual companions, dating platforms, and so on clearly shows how deeply technology, including AI, is embedded in everyday life. We keep asking our identity online and offline. The expert's final choice of rage bait may seem, technologically speaking, a step down from that grand vision of a high-tech world, but it does vividly capture how people live today. Why do someone deliberately provoke anger online? It turns out to be profitable. The BBC reports that Winter Zezu, a 24-year-old born in Ethiopia and now living in the United States, earned $150,000 last year through social media. She writes and performs in her own videos, often playing unreasonable customers or influencers behaving badly, infuriating viewers. A lot of angered users flock to the comment section, boosting her views. As Zezu herself says, "I get a lot of hate." Why can public anger be turned into money? The answer likely involves the algorithms of tech giants. No company has yet stepped forward to disclose in detail how their algorithms operate. But many scholars infer that social media and video platforms do not primarily recommend high-quality content to users. Rather, they push controversial materials into prominent positions. Common sense suggests that if one clip shows a performer singing and dancing brilliantly, and another shows an ordinary person behaving in an antisocial way, the former should be more popular. Yet visibility on platforms doesn't necessarily match what we think people most probably like. First, humans have a strong curiosity. Even if they disapprove of shocking behavior, they still want to see what happens. Some viewers feel angry after watching, and anger is an emotion prompting humans immediately to vent. So they post abusive or sarcastic comments. Ironically, their disparagement increases the creator's visibility, consequently bringing fame and profit. The English-speaking internet generates enough traffic that making money from rage bait is feasible. In Chinese-speaking regions outside mainland China, the profits from online activity is smaller. Turning angering content into attention, into traffic, and finally into income involves multiple hurdles that are not easily overcome. Yet recently, so-called provocative posts have also become fashionable in Taiwan and Hong Kong, echoing developments in the West. For now, the platform most often associated with such posts is Threads. These posts typically share two main characteristics. First, they are very short, often only a sentence or two, though their authors grandly call them essays, fitting to this bad habit of slapping on too long didn't read labels indiscriminately. Second, they merely express personal opinions and rarely challenge moral bottom lines, compared with the sensationalist antics of attention-seeking morons who truly deserve the label rage bait. Such posts fall far short. Those in the Chinese language world can take some comfort. Most Hong Kong and Taiwanese users are fundamentally humble and good-natured. Even when they pretend to be fierce, they can't sustain real malice. What is worth pondering is this: if the content is not actually intended to infuriate the public, why loudly brand it as starting a fight? In reality, it is closer to seeking attention. An ordinary person could post 100 attention-seeking provocation threads and still not earn 1/10 of Winter Zezu's income. Calling it starting a fight is just an empty show of bravado, inviting people to pile on in the comments in order to be noticed. If the poster is a teenager, such behavior is understandable. They are in adolescence and like to imagine themselves at the center of the stage, and should be given time to grow. On the contrary, if an adult is still resorting to adolescent tactics to make others read a few throwaway lines, it's hard not to worry about the emotional and mental maturity. International relations scholar Simon Shun this month launched a new YouTube channel, Simon Shun Principal's Office of the Offbeat Planet. His other channel, Offbeat Planet, has already been running for many years. Together with his other social media pages, he has worked hard to popularize his discipline, analyze international affairs, and publish commentary. The first video on the new channel is titled New Channel Declaration: How to Beat the Algorithm Who is Shaping Our Worldview, in which he explains his hope to use the channel to deliver accurate and in-depth information. Shun describes the difficulties of running online platforms, even saying, "I clearly want to talk about international issues, but what the audience expects may be very juicy content." He also notes that platforms like YouTube and TikTok create intense emotions, clear stances, and sharp binary oppositions in just a few seconds. Complex historical contexts, legal provisions, institutional designs, these so-called grand narratives are almost impossible to clearly explain in a few dozen seconds. So they naturally give way to simplified formats like 3 key points you must know, or 1 graphic to explain the Middle East situation. Professor Shun is highlighting the chaos online, or how foolish many netizens can be. They start from their prejudice, avoid careful understanding, and let emotion dictate their judgments. Over the past decade, Oxford University Press Words of the Year have included terms like climate emergency, youthquake, and vax, which describe distinctively conditions of their times, as well as others such as brain rot, risk, and post-truth, and even the face with tears of joy emoji in 2015. In a world of developed networks and rapid information flow, there should in theory be advantages for spreading knowledge and exchanging ideas. Today, in developed regions, nearly everyone carries an internet-connected device. Have people really come to know broader and deeper? Have their views become more refined? In his video, Shun points out that when the internet first appeared, some hoped that the power to publish and access information would become more equal. Now it seems this has not come to pass, and that algorithms designed by tech giants dominate instead. British commentator Douglas Murray likewise argues that the internet has not made people smarter. Comedian and commentator Konstantin Kisin, born in Soviet-era Uzbekistan and now based in London, notes that media will always have biases, and that the information we receive strongly shapes our thinking and judgment. What we can do is choose carefully and proactively seek materials that help us form accurate understanding. Compared with starting fights online, there are still many more meaningful things one can do on the internet. If you have any idea or like this video, please comment, like, subscribe and share. I'll be grateful if you support me on Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, making us go even further. See you on the next video.